I think a lot of the times the stigma of leaving home was because you live in a toxic home environment. So I kind of wanted to talk about like how it is to leave when the home isn't toxic, when your family was hardworking and did everything to make your dreams become a reality.
Sería capaz de dejar todos mis sueños por ti.
Vente a cenar, dile a tu hermana que baje ya.
Greater LA Today, presented by the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival. Tickets available at ChicanoHollywood.com. Evelyn, how are you? Thanks for being on Greater LA Today. How you doing?
I'm doing really great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Evelyn, let's jump straight into it. Congratulations on having your film Dreaming and Always Missing being at the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival coming up later this month and early August as well. Talk to me about the concept of dreaming and always missing, because I remember from our pregame chat that you mentioned you brought up a very niche but a very specific and very important topic about first gen US Latinos leaving home and everything that entails. Talk to me about that.
Isa dice mamá que la comida se va a enfriar.
Dreaming and Always Missing is a 3-poem trilogy. It's basically the journey of like as a first gen leaving home. I think a lot of the times the stigma of leaving home was because you live in a toxic home environment. So I kind of wanted to talk about like how it is to leave when the home isn't toxic, when your family was hardworking and did everything to make your dreams become a reality, and how that kind of comes with a lot of complications of emotions. Like you feel guilty for leaving home, but there's also a suffocation because you have a big dream that just can't be done in your hometown. And it's kind of like the first poem's about that. Second poem is like the hope that you can make it, but also the loneliness from leaving the warmth of like home. And then like the third poem is kind of like the grind to make it like worth leaving, but also trying to remember your roots and not trying to forget where you come from. So I think it's really important because when I was growing up, it felt like a stab in the back to my family to leave because they were so good to me, and it kind of felt lonely. But talking to other friends who had the same experience, it's like, oh, there's no media that talks about this niche. That's why I made it, because I was like, at least maybe someone will relate to it, or like feel like, oh, I'm not the only one. It's okay.
Yeah, Evelyn, and you're right, correct. You're not the only one, because a lot of us first gens, when you leave home, especially if we're thinking about things like college, it does feel like that when unfortunately it shouldn't, right? And so I think it's a great thing to talk about, because as you brought to my attention, most of the times when that's pointed out in media, film, and television, it's because in those stories, you're leaving an abusive home, alcohol, negative things like that. And it's not always the case. Sometimes we're just doing what other people are doing, which is like going off to college or, trying to, go out into the world and start your own life. Now, Evelyn, is Dreaming and Always Missing one of the 3 poems in your series, or is it a short film that contains the 3 poems within that one short film?
Dreaming and Always Missing is all 3 of them together.
Oh,
So I did it in 10 minutes. The first poem kind of talks about like the leaving. Second poem is like after you leave, and third poem is trying to make it kind of in the entertainment industry.
Evelyn, you have a very special request out there to all the directors out there for a certain task. Take it away.
Yeah, so any directors who have the time and or even the brain capacity to take on the mentees, please take more women directors. There's very few of us who sit in that chair. And I think it's so important as we're talking about inclusivity and growth in our community, we should also be encouraging like females to take up the space. We can learn from each other and we can grow as a community. There's very few films, especially Latino films, that I can name that are female perspectives. And I think it's so important as a community who's trying to take up more space to motivate that and have more diversity in the director's chair. So any of you, please find a mentee that's a female and help them.
Yes, we need more Chicana Latina directors in the director's chair. Of course, my big example is Evelyn Garcia, who directed Flamin' Hot for Disney. So yeah, definitely more females needed in the director's chair. Evelyn, when can people come on out to the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival to check out Dreaming and Always Missing?
Dreaming and Always Missing will be at the Chicano Hollywood Festival, August 2nd, Block 1.
Very cool, everyone. You heard it from Evelyn Garcia. Come on out and support Dreaming and Always Missing and all the other amazing films that are going to be lined up at the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival coming up in later July and early August. Evelyn, thank you so much for being on Greater LA today. I appreciate your time, your expertise, your knowledge base that comes off of you having made your film. And I want to have you on here next time you have the next thing you want to talk about, your next short, your next feature coming up also. So yes, thank you very much for being on Greater LA Today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Greater LA Today, presented by All We Have, now streaming on Tubi.